Arizona State has landed former Florida quarterback Emory Jones. That is now official. Emory Jones heading from the Gators to the Sun Devils. And obviously had, the typical stat rundown, over 2,700 yards, 19 TDs, 13 interceptions, also ran for almost 800 yards as well. So pretty productive, but now a Sun Devil, and try and get that program righted. Obviously been kind of turbulent there with Herm Edwards and company for a little while now, so we'll see if Emory Jones can help make a difference.
This is a twofold interesting one. That was maybe a spot for Gerry Bohanon to land with Glenn Thomas there, and now I would think that ship has probably sailed. Emory Jones is a tremendous athlete. Emory Jones is not at Florida because of those 13 interceptions. I would, and this is just guessing, I think 7 or 8 of them went the other way. So it's not that he just threw interceptions, that he threw them at the worst possible times and they wound up in the end zone. It was that thing that his mistakes were compounded so much. But again, they have a whole new coaching staff there. He almost stayed. I mean, he kind of went back and forth on going in the transfer portal, I think, because he kind of liked the vibe that Coach Napier had. But then I think they said this is Richardson's job now, essentially, and then Jack Miller's the backup, so find something else. And I hope for him that it works out, and for everybody at Arizona State that it works out, because it's a tumultuous situation there. And kind of curious to see now that Arizona State and Glenn Thomas is kind of off the table for Gerry Bohanon, where that leads him next.
Well, and of course, Arizona State needed him because Jaden Daniels went to LSU to go join that crowded quarterback room. So we'll see how their situation plays out. But not a bad backup to fall back on if you're looking for a quarterback. I mean, like you said, Paul, he's plenty athletic, and he can just eliminate some of those Nebraska tendencies, which is basically, hey, play pretty well and then screw yourself over at the end of the game in every way imaginable. Then he could definitely make an impact for them. But on Gerry Bohanon, I'm not sure. I haven't seen a whole lot of chatter about him. I haven't gone seeking it out either, but typically something like that would just come across my screen at some point or another. But after he entered, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of talk for like a day or two, but I've seen relatively little to nothing. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen barely any updates, on my end at least.
I had someone who used to be a part of the Baylor program tell me that the 2 schools that he had heard were Colorado and Missouri. Now, again, just basically from the grapevine. Doesn't mean that either of those are legitimate, and I'm sure that Gerry, trying to take his time of what he wants to do to make sure that he doesn't compound the disappointment with maybe another one, because we saw what happened to Charlie Brewer. He decided to transfer, went to Utah. Everything seemed great until they started playing games. And the next thing you know, Cam Rising's healthier, is better, and the next thing you know, he takes him to a Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And so you got to make sure if you're going to transfer, don't just transfer where you're going to have a chance to scratch the itch that you had the reason you transferred.
Well, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of online support from the Missouri fan base for Gerry Bohanon. They're clearly kind of angling for him, but, fans and what the coaches are trying to do are different things at times, so who knows? But it does appear that there is some level of interest, and hey, Gerry could go play in the SEC for his final, year or two, whatever, and then, be right there close home to Arkansas as well. Still just a different direction from where he has been the last few years from his home state, but relatively close. I'd love to see him land at Missouri. How much of an effect or impact does he have? I have no idea. I'd have to probably go look a little bit further at their rosters to see kind of what he's dealing with. But, I could see that as a good fit for him.
All right, we showed you that Lamborghini with Bijan